Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm bringing you a story the entire Turkish entertainment world is whispering about, and we're going to walk through it calmly, clearly, and in full. The news surrounding Ebru Şahin's pregnancy, and why Akınözü's reaction has everyone talking. If you enjoy deep dive breakdowns delivered for text-to-speech, please like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss what's next. Thank you, and let's get into it. First, the two names at the center of the conversation need no introduction. Ebru Şahin and Akınözü carved out a permanent space in TV history with their work on her Kai. Their screen partnership was built on emotional precision, long pauses that said more than speeches, arguments that felt lived in, and reconciliations that could quiet a room. That connection is why any development in either star's life reverberates far beyond a headline. The audience doesn't just watch them, they invest in them. Now to the present moment. The spark that lit up fan timelines began quietly. A private gathering, friends, family, colleagues, no stage, no media wall, no prearranged photo call. In the middle of it all, a piece of good news. Ebru shared that she is expecting. The way it reached the outside world was equally understated, a simple image, a few soft words, congratulations layered beneath a calm tone. No slow-motion reveal, no dramatic countdown. Just life, moving forward in real time. And then there was Akın's reaction, witnessed by more than a few people in that room and felt by many more when the story broke hours later. Moved is the word that keeps returning. Not the Hollywood version of moved, but the grounded kind, the visible breath you take before you speak, the way your posture changes when you're genuinely happy for someone else. People in the room describe it as respectful, warm, and unmistakably sincere. It read as what it was, joy for another person's milestone. That moment cracked open a wave of responses online. Some fans, still carrying the tenderness of her Kai, read the event through nostalgia, making edits that braided key scenes with the quiet celebration. Others took a more measured angle. Two colleagues who've navigated fame with unusual grace remain connected as people, not just as headlines, and this news reminded everyone why their bond resonated in the first place. And of course, there were the questions, some careful, some not, about what Akın's presence means, whether it signals anything beyond friendship, and how much of any private news the public is entitled to know. Here's where we add clarity without feeding rumor mills. Nothing in this story requires speculation to be compelling. Ebru Şahin shared a meaningful chapter of her life. Akınözü, a former co-lead who knows better than most the pressure cooker of public attention, reacted with genuine emotion and evident support. That's the story. If you strip away the noise, what remains is both simple and beautiful, a personal milestone received with kindness by someone who mattered during a life-defining professional chapter. And yet, because both stars are who they are, the industry response has already begun. Colleagues posted short notes, no tagged names, no clickbait captions, just candles, flowers, and the word congratulations. Directors who've worked with them wrote things like "Good news lands softly." Stylists and crew members, who often see the most and say the least, shared heart emojis in private chats, while public feeds stayed appropriately restrained. That restraint is important. It's a sign that the inner circle is choosing humanity over hype. Let's talk about timing, because timing always matters in show business. The news arrives as networks are evaluating pilots, as producers consider returning to proven screen partnerships, and as audiences crave stories that feel less like formulas and more like life. Does a moment like this fuel calls to reunite these two in a new project? Inevitably. The reality, however, is more grounded. Life events like this tend to reset priorities, not accelerate speculation. If there is another collaboration someday, it will be because a script justifies it, not because a headline demands it. There's also a larger lesson in how last night's quiet celebration turned into today's trending topic. For years, both Ebru and Akın have maintained a boundary between their work and their private lives. They rarely feed gossip. They avoid performative intimacy in public settings. They show up for the craft, do the job, and step back. In an industry that often rewards oversharing, they chose the long road of discretion. That's partly why this moment feels different. It wasn't engineered. It surfaced on its own, and people recognized the authenticity immediately. Of course, social media is a chorus with many voices. Some asked hard questions about privacy, reminding others that parenthood is not a content strategy and that strangers do not have a right to every detail. Others leaned into sentiment, thanking both actors, fairly or not, for giving them a love story to believe in during the Hırkay years, and for showing that care can survive the end of a series. You can hold both truths at once, celebrate the good news and respect the boundary around it. It's worth pausing on what moved can mean in this context. Anyone who has ever built something demanding with another person, an artistic partnership, a company, a family, knows that milestones hit differently when shared history is in the room. You remember the early mornings, the table reads that dragged into night, the scenes no one thought would land until they did. You remember how much of yourself you learned through the work. In that sense, Akın's reaction is not mysterious at all. It's what many of us feel when someone we once journeyed with steps into a new season. Will there be statements beyond what's already known? Possibly, but not necessarily. Both have a track record of speaking when it matters and keeping quiet when talking would add nothing. If more is said, it will likely sound like the people they've shown themselves to be, thoughtful, measured, human. And if nothing more is said, that will also be a choice, one that doesn't diminish the meaning of this week's news. Let's answer a few practical questions I know you'll ask. Did this reveal look staged? No. Everything about it read as organic, low-key, within a trusted circle, shared outward in a way that centered the news rather than the noise. Does Akın's reaction signal a public reunion, on or off-screen? It signals care. Anything beyond that lives in the realm of assumption, and assumptions are a poor substitute for facts. How are fans reacting outside the core Hırkay community? Broadly, with warmth. Ebru's audience spans genres and age groups, and good news tends to soften even the sharpest corners of the internet, for a little while, at least. What happens next professionally? The same thing that always happens with serious artists. Scripts are read, schedules negotiated, life balanced against work. If a project comes that suits them individually, or even together, great. If not, the world will still have an archive of scenes that remind us why their names can fill a room. As we wrap, here's the heartbeat of this video. It is possible to celebrate without intruding, to feel nostalgia without forcing a narrative, to honor the past and still make room for the present. Ebru Şahin's pregnancy is a wonderful, human milestone. Akınözü's visible happiness for her is equally human. In an industry that can turn joy into spectacle, this felt like a moment that kept its integrity. That alone is rare enough to be news. If you appreciated this thoughtful breakdown, crafted for text-to-speech so you can listen on the go, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who remembers exactly where they were the first time these two lit up the screen together. As always, keep your comments kind. Real people live on the other side of every headline. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. Take care and goodbye.